Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you all are fine. So in this video we will discuss about biology of class 10 chapter 5 life process. Okay, let's start. How do we tell the difference between what is alive and what is not alive? Here is a question that how do we tell the difference between what is alive and what is not alive? Okay, this is this question. If we see a dog running, or a cow chewing curd, or a man shooting loudly on the street, we know that these all living beings. We know that the dog is living beings. We know that the cow is living being, and the man, human beings are also living beings. Okay, we know that these all are living beings. Okay. What if the dog or the cow or the man were asleep? What if the dog or the cow or the man were asleep? Okay, here is also a question. We would still think that they were alive, but how did we know that? If a dog or the cow or the man were asleep, but we would still think that they all are alive. Okay, but how did you know that? How did you know that? You know that these all are living beings. We seen them breathing. How did we know that? Because we see they are breathing. Okay, and we know that they are alive. If they all are breathing, then they all are alive. Okay. What about plants? And here is one more question, that what about the plants? How do we know that they are alive? How do we know that the plant alive? We see them green. We see them green. Okay, and then we say that these plants are alive or these plants are not alive. Okay. Some of us will say that we see them green, then we decide that it is alive or not alive. Okay. But what about plants that have leaves of colors other than green? But here is one more question, that but what about plants that have leaves of colors other than green, and also have color other than what? Green. They grow over time. They grow over time, so we know that they are alive. Some will say, and some will say that they can grow over time, so they can say that they are alive. Okay. In other words, we tend to think of some sort of movement, either growth related or not, as common evidence of living. For being alive. Okay. We tend to think of some sort of movement, either growth related or not, either growth related or not, as the common evidence for living beings. Okay, but a plant that is not a visible growth thing is still alive, and some animals can breathe without visual movement, and but a plant that is not visible growth and is still alive, and some animals can breathe without visible movement. Okay, some using visible movement as the defining characteristic of life is not enough. Some using visual movement as the defining characteristic of life is not enough. It means movement cannot decide that what are life and what is not alive. Okay, movement movements over very small scale will be invisible to naked eyes. Movement of molecule, for example, movements over very small scale will be invisible to the naked eyes. Movement of molecule, for example, is this invisible molecular movement necessary for life? Here is one more question, that is this visible molecular movement necessary for life? Okay, if we ask this question to professional biologists, they will say yes. If we ask this question to professional biologists, they will say yes. In fact, viruses do not show any molecular movement in them, and that is partly why there is controversy about whether they are truly live or not. Okay. If biologists say yes, in fact viruses do not show any molecular movement. It means virus, we know that virus is very small. They cannot show any type of molecular movement in them, and that is partly why there is controversy about whether they are truly live or not. Okay, so we cannot say that movement is very. Why are molecular movement needs for life? And our next, this one is also a question, that why molecular movement needed for life? We have seen in earlier classes that living organisms are well-organized structure. In previous classes, in earlier classes, that living organism, we have seen in the earlier classes that living organisms have well-organized body structure. Okay, they can have tissues. Tissues have cells. Cells have a smaller component in them, and so on. We have already seen in earlier classes that all living organisms are well-organized, have well-organized structure. They can have tissue, and tissue have cell, and cell have a smaller component in them, and so on. Because of effects of the environment, this organized, ordered nature of living structures is very likely to keep breaking down over time. Uh, because of effects of the environment. Because of the effects of the environment. Okay, this ordered nature of living structure is very likely to keep breakdown over time. Okay, it means we know that this one is the structure of all living organisms. Okay, if order breaks down, the organism will no longer be alive. If order break down, if this order is break down, then the organism will no longer be alive. It means the organism will not live a longer life. Okay, so living creatures must keep repairing and maintaining their structure. So living creature must keep repairing and maintaining their structure. We maintain our structure. Since all these structures are made up of molecules. Since these all structures are made up of molecule, okay, they must move molecule around all the time. They must move molecule around all the time when it is necessary. Okay. Now let's see. What are the maintenance process of living organisms? Here is a question that what are the maintenance processes in living organisms? Okay, let us explore. What are life processes? Okay, let's see what are life processes. The maintenance functions of living organisms must go on even when they are not doing anything particularly. Okay, it means the maintenance functions of living organisms must go on even when they are not doing anything particularly. It means the maintenance function of living organisms must go on if we are not doing any work. Okay, our process is going on. Okay, even we are not doing anything, but our function cannot stop. Okay, even when we are just sitting in class, even if we are just asleep, this maintenance job has to go on. It means if you are just asleep, but our maintenance job were not stop, has to going on. Okay, go on. Okay, if either you are sitting in a classroom or if we are just asleep, okay, our maintenance job has not stopped. Their work going on. These processes which together perform the maintenance job are life process, and these processes which together perform this maintenance job are known as life process. Okay, and these processes are known as life process. Okay, that since These maintenance processes are needed to prevent damage and breakdown. Energy is needed for them. Since these maintenance processes are needed to prevent damage and breakdown of you can say food or any particle, it need energy. It use energy for to doing this work. Okay. These energy come from this energy is come from outside the body of individual organism, and this energy comes from outside the body. Okay, like you can say food that we intake outside the body. Okay, so this must be a process to transfer a source of energy from outside the body of the organism. Okay, which we call food. Here is written that so we must be a process to transfer a source of energy from the outside of the body of the organism that we are called food that we take from the outside, okay, to the inside. A process we commonly call nutrition. And this process, we know that if we take food and it perform many functions, this process we commonly called nutrition. Okay. Okay. After that we get energy. Okay. In the body size of organism is to grow. Additional raw material will also be needed from outside. If the body size of organism is to grow, if the size of organism is to grow, then additional raw material will also needed from outside. If the organism is to grow, then it is added raw material from outside the body, okay, is also needed from this organism. Okay, since life on earth depends on carbon based molecules, since life on earth is totally depend on carbon based molecule. Okay, most of these food source are also carbon based, and most of some foods are also source of carbon based. Okay, depending on the complexity of these carbon source, different organisms can then use different kinds of nutrition process. Okay. Okay. Depends on the complexity of this carbon source. Different organisms can they use different kinds of nutrition process. Okay, means different kinds of organisms use different kinds of nutrition process. Okay. The outside source of energy could be quite varied, since the environment is not under the control of the individual organism. Okay, it means the outside source of energy could be quite varied. It not fixed. Okay, since the environment is not under the control of individual organism, it means the environment is not under the sorry, the environment is not under the control of human this individual organisms. Okay, this source of energy therefore need to be broken down or built up in the body, and must be finally converted to a uniform source of energy that can be used for the various molecular movement needed for maintaining living structures. Okay, uh, this source of energy, it means this type of energy therefore need to be broken down or built up in the body. And so this source of energy needed to break down or build up in our body, and must be finally converted to uniform source of energy that can be used for various molecular movement needed for maintaining living structure. Okay, and these energy converts into uniform source of energy, and that can be used in various type of molecular movement needed for our body for maintaining our structure. Okay, as well as to the kind of molecules the body need to grow, as well as to kinds of molecule that body used to grow. Okay, for this a series of chemical reaction in the body are necessary. Okay, in the body are necessary. It means for this, it means for growth, a series of chemical reaction are also important for our body. Okay. Oxiding reducing reaction are some of the most common chemical means to break down molecules. Okay, oxidizing reduction reaction are the reducing oxidizing reducing reaction are the most common chemical mean. It helps to break down of molecule. For this many organisms use oxygen source for outside the body. For this many organisms use oxygen source from outside the body. It means inland movement. The process of acquiring oxygen from outside the body and to use it in the process of breakdown of food source for cellular needs in what we call respiration. The process of acquiring oxygen from outside the body and use it in the process of breakdown of food source, can say glucose, for cellular needs. This process is known as respiration. Okay. In the case of single cord organism, No specific organs for taking food, exchanging of gases or removal of wastage may be needed because the entire surface of the organism is in control with the environment. It means in the case of a single celled organism, no specific organ for taking in food and exchanging of gases, or you can also say removal of wastage may needed because the entire surface of this organism is contact with the environment. Okay. But what happens when the body size of organism increase and the design become more complex? And here is the question that what happens when the body size of organism increases and the body design become complex. Okay. This one is a question. In multicellular organisms, all the cells may not be in direct contact with the surrounding environment. The simple diffusion will not meet the requirement of all the cells. In the case of multicellular organisms, all the cells may not be in direct contact with the environment. Thus, the simple diffusion will not meet the requirement of all the cells. Okay, for all the cells. We have seen previously how in multicellular organisms various body parts have specialized in the functions they perform. In previous classes, we are already seeing that in a multicellular organism, various body part having a specified in the functions they perform. We are familiar with the idea of these specialized tissues and with the organization in the body of the organism. These specialized tissue are and with their organization in the body of organism, it is therefore not surprising that the uptake of food and of oxygen will also be the function of a specialized tissue. Therefore, not surprisingly that the uptake of food and also of oxygen will also be the function of a specialized tissue. However, this poses a problem since the food and oxygen are not taken up at one place in the body of the organism, while all parts of the body need them. It means since if the food and oxygen are not taken up at one place in the body of organism, while all part of the body needed them. Not one place in the body are needed food or energy, food or oxygen. All part of our body need oxygen and food. Okay. This situation creates a need for a transportation system for carrying food and oxygen from one place to another place in the body. And this situation creates a need for a transportation system it carry food and oxygen from one place to another place in the body. Okay. When chemical reaction use the carbon source and the oxygen for energy generation, they create by produce that are not only useless for the cell of the body but could even be harmful. It means when the chemical reaction use the carbon source and the for energy generation and oxygen for energy generation, they create by product that are not only useless for the cell but could even be harmful, and it also harmful for our body. Okay. These waste by product are therefore needed to be removed from the body and discarded outside by process called excretion. And these useless thing is needed to be removed from our body. Okay. So this process is known as excretion. Okay. It means removal of wastage from our body. This process is known as excretion. Okay. Again, if the basic rule for body design in a multicellular organisms are followed, specialized tissue for excretion will be developed, which means that the transportation system will need to transport waste away from cell to the excretory tissue. Okay, it means a specialized tissue for excretion will be developed, which means that the transportation system will need to transport waste away from cell to this excretory tissue. With the help of excretory tissue, transport these wastage cell from outside. Okay, once the cell remove their wastage, let us consider these various processes. So essential to maintain life one by one. First one is nutrition. After that, first one is nutrition. After these are the type of nutrition. After that, respiration. Okay. So I hope you understand all the video that human have maintained their body. Okay. This process is known as life process, and if any organism remove their wastage from outside, inside the body from outside, This process is known as expiration. Okay, and also many things we study in this video. So I hope you understand this whole the video. That's all for today. Thank you.